Point 6, WorldNet Daily. There is a lot of information here, so let me summarize what Bob Unruh, who wrote the article, said. He said, the National Snow and Ice Data Center in Boulder, Colorado, U.S. shows the Arctic ice mass as of September 7, 2015, is substantially bigger than it was in 2012. That's only 3 years, and it's growing a lot in 3 years, if you can believe that. He goes on to say, Nobel Prize-winning climate experts and journalists tell us that the Arctic is ice-free because they are propagandists, pushing an agenda, not actual scientists or journalists, he writes. In the past 3 years, he points out the Arctic ice mass has gained hundreds of miles, much of which is thick multi-year ice. You got that? Not only is the Antarctic expanding, especially the east ice sheet, but the Arctic is also expanding. And that's what the sealer said to me when I talked to him. But just in the last few years, Cairo, the capital of Egypt, saw its first snow in 100 years. And Oregon, like several other U.S. states, and I have talked to other Americans, and this is true, from other states, reached its coldest temperature in 40 years. Chicago saw the coldest days ever recorded. And as if to add finality to the trend, Antarctica reached the coldest temperature ever recorded anywhere on Earth. Coldest, not hottest. The holes in the theories that form the basis of ice-free Arctic forecast are evident. In other words, we're not seeing global warming. We're not seeing the evidence that we're in trouble from any kind of warming. In fact, it seems to be the Earth right now is going through a bit of a cold spell. And Al Gore's 2006 documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, famously predicted increasing temperatures would cause the Earth's ocean to rise by 20 feet. Okay? He said the oceans would rise by 20 feet, a claim many scientists say is utterly without rational basis. In fact, Lord Monckton, if you don't know Lord Monckton, you should look him up. He's an expert on climate change. Or I should say, why there isn't any. He said sea levels are rising only 1 meter for every 100 years, 1 meter a century. That is basically no danger to us at all. And this guy knows what he's talking about. If you don't know him, look him up. Activists are also spending less time discussing temperatures and more time pointing to more extreme events such as tornadoes, droughts, cold snaps, and heat waves. Nick Ball, a climatology expert and scientist, said there's a shred, a little bit of truth there, but it's being badly distorted. Yes, there's been slightly more extremes, so he admits there's been a few more than usual storms, he said, but that's because the jet stream patterns are changing because the Earth is cooling down. Now, the jet streams are the winds that blow around the Earth. Of course, airplanes like to fly with the jet stream to save time and to save money. He said that's the reason why we're having more extreme weather. It's not because of global warming. All the arguments, in addition, about sea level rise, about the Arctic ice disappearing. If you recall, it's not that long ago that our friend Al Gore was saying that there would be no summer ice in the Arctic. You got that? He said that. I think the year he said it for was 2014. This proved to be completely wrong. Obviously, we're heading into the winter of 2017. On a personal note, the only places I've heard that are in trouble due to rises in sea level are some of the small, low-level islands in the Pacific Ocean. I've heard nothing about sea levels being in any trouble in Canada, or Taiwan for that matter. Maybe you can ask your grandparents or great-grandparents about it. See if sea levels have been rising since they were young. Bob Unruh continues to add that Craig Itzel, Senior Fellow in Environment for the Heartland Institute and co-editor of the Non-Governmental International Panel on Climate Control, the NIPPC, said that to the world's climate alarmists, and alarmists is someone saying, we're all going to burn up, we're all going to burn up, we're all going to die, alarmists, atmospheric CO2 is a dangerous trace gas, and for years They have been insisting its increase will raise global temperatures and wreak havoc upon the Earth's climate and biosphere. Yet, despite a 9% increase in CO2 over the past 18 years, this is up to 2015, there has been no rise in global temperature, he said. The NIPPC says, moreover, there is substantial scientific evidence that increases in atmospheric CO2 may, you ready for this? Ready? Produce many beneficial effects upon the natural, plant, and environments of the Earth. Think about the carbon cycle for a second, how it works. Photosynthesis, respiration. In photosynthesis, the plants produce oxygen. We breathe in the oxygen. Respiration, we breathe out the CO2. That's called the carbon cycle. CO2 is beneficial to the plants and the animals and the environment. It helps. Now you might say, but all this CO2 might harm us, give us diseases and stuff. Yes, but is the CO2 level causing you to get sick because of the global warming effect? I don't think so. Point 7, urban heat islands. Now, what are urban heat islands? According to Wikipedia, an urban heat island is an urban area or metropolitan area that is significantly warmer than its surrounding rural areas due to human activity. Okay, so it's significantly warmer. The temperature difference usually is larger at night than during the day and is most apparent when winds are weak. Winds are weak, okay? Remember that. Urban heat islands are most noticeable during the summer and winter. The main cause of urban heat island effect is from the modification of land surfaces. Got that? The modification of land surfaces. As a population center grows, it tends to expand its area and increase its average temperature. In some parts of the world, the temperatures have gone up, especially in cities. However, on a personal note, I think it is mainly due not to global warming, that is, warming on a global scale at all, but rather on a local scale. Let's take Taiwan. Most people seem to think the temperatures in Taiwan have gone up over the past 50 years, and maybe it has. I'm not arguing that. Okay? However, the research I have seen where temperatures have been measured and recorded by meteorologists, climate experts, have always been inside cities, not outside. This is a problem because cities have gotten more crowded, denser, and higher. So the wind cannot blow through the cities, which causes the pollution to condense, and that heats up the city. In addition, less wind means increased temperatures, and dare I say, increased CO2 concentration levels. Another reason for increased temperature in the cities is because of the material that the cities are made of. Glass, concrete, iron, steel, and asphalt, for instance. All of these heat up the cities. Could these be the reasons why temperatures are going up in the cities? That is, it is the result of us building more condensed cities with closer buildings and higher sky rises instead of global warming? Is this why people are getting sick from CO2 or other gases because of the jungles being in? It's worth a thought. In fact, I found this today just as I was coming over. I mean, I passed it literally, just then. And this is dated, this is the Taipei Times dated today. And the title says, "Thousands March Demanding Clean Air." What I found interesting in this article is there's nothing here about global warming. They're saying pollution, CO2, but nobody's talking about global warming here. I thought that little omission is actually quite interesting. Point 8, WorldNet Daily. 31,000 scientists reject global warming agenda. This website from 2008 reads that more than 31,000 Scientists across the U.S., including more than 9,000 PhDs in the fields such as atmospheric science, climatology, earth science, environment, and dozens of other specialities, have signed a petition rejecting global warming. The assumption that human production of greenhouse gases like CO2 and methane is damaging Earth's climate. It goes on to say, there is no convincing scientific evidence, none, that human release of CO2, methane, or other greenhouse gases is causing or will cause in the future a catastrophic heating of the Earth's atmosphere and disruption of the Earth's climate, the petition states. Moreover, there is substantial, a lot of scientific evidence that increases in atmospheric CO2 produce many beneficial effects upon the natural plant and animal environments of the earth. There's the word beneficial again. The petition project is at www.petitionproject.org, and it was actually was launched nearly 20 years ago, 1998. So actually it'll be 20 years pretty soon. When the first few thousand signatures were assembled, the list of signatures has continued to grow, the website says, without any special effort or campaign. On a personal note, some people say there aren't that many scientists and experts against global warming. However, this petition, which I checked out, and despite the hoax claims that it was not real, the petition is real. Okay? And it's also only in the United States. So, how many more scientists across the world do not agree with global warming, I wonder? And they also tried to say, well, not many people who signed it are actually climatologists. Maybe not, but they are experts in the weather in some form. You don't have to be a climatologist to understand global warming. It's like saying, smoking's not bad for you because the doctor said so. No, you can read, you can understand this. Student discussion. From the articles from WorldNet Daily, list 2 or 3 points the speaker talks about. Give your opinion of one point, detailing what you think about it. The lecturer said that the idea, that's me, of an urban heat island makes it seem to people that global warming may be real. After listening to him, do you think there's any truth to urban heat islands? And to what degree do you think urban heat islands may make people think global warming is real, or for that matter, increase the CO2 levels and pollution, making it look like global warming? And pollution making it look like global warming may be the cause. Or if you think urban heat islands are an effect of global warming and not local human activity, how would you justify this? Share this with the class. Moving along to point number 9. Taipei, Taiwan. Snow for the first time in 80 years at 23 degrees north latitude. Remember I said I'm from 48 degrees north? This is 23. Look, this is the tropics. Look at this video of Taiwan from the beginning through 37 seconds, and then 1 minute 7 seconds through 1 minute 45.
Good afternoon, everyone. First snows in more than 80 years in Taipei, Taiwan. Snowflakes are so rare here that people were running to the streets trying to grab snowflakes in their hands. Roads snarled, traffic stopped, railroads interrupted, frozen lakes, mountaintops just blanketed in snow, every mountain range. The island is kind of shut down at the moment because there's no traffic able to move around through the slippery conditions. And this is an area that is 23 degrees north on the Tropic of Cancer. How lucky am I to be here right now during the snows covering this story live? Some news sources claim that it's the coldest in 44 years. Across the island you can see the temperature variation. Here at 7 o'clock in the morning, everywhere it's darker blue. It snowed last night. The lighter blue areas are where it was extremely cold. Some of the lowest readings coming across, of course, in the mountains below freezing, but look at number 10 down there, Taipei. Asia experiencing incredible cold this winter. Unusually far south cold patterns. You'll notice that the Tropic of Cancer.
Student discussion. What are your thoughts on this video? Do you think this was just 1 year that was an exception to global warming and really means nothing very much? Or do you think that what happens in Taiwan at this time shows something significant? Okay? Remember, this didn't happen very long ago. All right?